Braxton, and you're listening to the Mrs. Bartender Bay radio show, only on myfusionradio.com.
Tune in to the Mrs. Bartender Bay every Friday night at 10 p.m. featuring Shantae Braxton and Peter Parker.
I'm tired of this,
I'm tired of this, Grandpa. That's too damn bad. Do it.
Well, excuse me.
The Mrs. Bartender Bay. Only on myfusionradio.com.
Are you ready to jumpstart your career? Are you the GOAT when it comes to selling and promoting? Then we're looking for you. Hey, we hired! Fusion Digital Media and Fusion Radio are looking for business development manager. And if you're good in sales and have a great customer service attitude, then come be a part of the Fusion family. All you gotta do is drop your resume to Alicia Thomas at athomas@fusiondigitalmedia.com to apply.
You want to run that by me one more time, there, Bob?
That's A. Thomas at Fusion, Fuzion, digitalmedia.com to apply. Become a part of the Fusion family. And don't forget to tell your family and friends to download the My Fusion Radio app. That's Fusion with a Z in your App Store and Google Play.
And as your king, I proclaim that...
Excuse me, Your Highness?
Yes?
Can we take a selfie with you?
Of course. Get on in here. Big smile. Oh, that's a good one. Fellow citizens, this picture already has 27 likes. Huzzah!
The Georgia Renaissance Festival is back. Weekends from April 9th to May 30th. For tickets, visit GARenfest.com. The Georgia Renfest. Get into it.
Fusion Radio, making the internet great again. One download at a time. myfusionradio.com. Fusion Radio. Follow us on Instagram at myfusionradio and like us on Facebook and Twitter. myfusionradio.com.
You are listening to the Mrs. Bartender Bay on Fusion Radio, One World, One Voice. Thank you all so much for tuning in this Saturday night.
It's Friday. I made that mistake last week, remember?
I know you did.
Yeah. Today is Friday, right?
It is Friday. We still got about 25 more minutes. So anyways, we were just, during the break, we were just discussing some things about relationship and submission. And these ladies are really freaking smart. Let me tell y'all something. Speaking of really freaking smart, y'all want to shout out y'all alma maters real quick? I know y'all repping Spelman and I know what I'm saying.
I'm going to shout out my alma mater because Voorhees College is where I graduated in 2008. We just celebrated our 125th anniversary, Tiger
Shout
Pride,
out.
Blue and White. And as of Thursday, we are now Voorhees University.
Okay.
Shout out to HBCU.
HBCU Pride.
Okay. Okay. And I want to shout out Atlanta Metropolitan State College, okay, because they are doing great things, great opportunities. Okay. So go ahead. But moving along, Cher, you
shout out Morgan State, honey.
And Bowie State. I graduated from Bowie State.
Yeah.
But
she said, let me tell you something. Don't play with me. Play with your mama, okay?
yeah, I graduated from Bowie State, but went to Morgan for like 2 years prior.
Awesome.
Yeah. So HBCU Pride.
That's
all
right.
The way.
Okay, y'all.
The only way.
Okay, so speaking of pride, we were talking about submission over the break, and I spoke about being a Southern belle and what it means to me to have a relationship, and in my relationship I do believe in being very, very submissive. However, I don't want people to get it misconstrued and to think that for me submission means like some type of weakness, or I'm just going around, you know, like, hey, I do what you tell me to do,
or I'll beat you, woman. I'll beat you, woman. You better get. You better get.
Because it does not.
You know what I mean? Who does that?
I will slap the hell out of you.
That's why I carry a gun, yo.
Okay, and I carry one too.
Right.
We have a shootout of this one. You hear me? 4th of July around this bitch. Anyway, so I know Ashley had a great point, and she speaking about submission, and also Shay. So Ashley, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so I just biblically, and I know not everyone is Christians, but biblically it says that you're supposed to submit one to another, right? Mm-hmm. So as the man submits to Christ, the woman is supposed to submit to the man, because there are roles that I believe the man is supposed to play and that the woman is supposed to play, just to be, you know, free about it. I am not taking out trash. I'm not filling up my car with gas.
Amen.
I'm not washing my car.
Say
right?
it again.
But I do believe that when my man comes home, like, there should be food made, right? Like, the house should be clean and clothes should be washed, all those type of things. But, like, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, then we got a problem.
Yeah, you ain't getting none of that.
You know?
It's funny how so many women don't believe in that anymore.
Mm-hmm. I don't always think it's that they don't believe in that anymore. I think that a lot of maybe our generation, their womanly figures that were in their life, they didn't get a chance to operate in that space to demonstrate it to them. So because maybe they didn't have a partner that allowed them to operate in that space. So like for me with submission, it comes with, I actually just reposted a status that said on Facebook, I act like the city girls, but I'm really taking my man his plate.
So that part is on Instagram or Twitter?
That's on my Facebook.
Okay.
So like, I think if you didn't have a good example, or, you know, they didn't have the ability to act in that space, then you don't know that that's okay for you to act. Because if you've always only seen strong and then you're raised to be strong, you don't know how to not be strong.
But well, not necessarily. Not all people. Like we were taught up watching a strong woman exist, but also being told you need to know this to take care of yourself, but also take care of your husband. Like I can remember, Shantae, you remember this. Mama used to always be like, "Ain't no man gonna want you if you don't clean up."
Sure did. My mama said, "No man don't want no nasty house."
And no nasty woman.
So and my mama, and we were raised that way, but at the same time, my mother said, "Don't depend on nobody but yourself."
See, so I think
we know how to go out and get it, but I also know in the house, my man is my man. Like I can remember dating my husband, and I was cooking and cleaning. I hadn't done that to nobody, and you know that, to nobody I had dated, and everybody said to me, "Oh, but why you doing wife stuff as a girlfriend?" Because this is somebody that's going to be my husband. Why would I not?
I also think that certain people, and I won't just say men, because women do it for men as well. I think certain people bring out different sides of your personality.
Absolutely.
So it might be someone who, you know, like doesn't know how to bring out that softer side of you, and then you might meet somebody else who makes you feel feminine and you want to act in your feminine divine. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's different people that bring out different parts of your personality, and you're willing to do that for that person versus someone else that you're like, nah, you don't deserve this.
I think that's what Shay was basically saying, is that if you don't have that opportunity, it's creating that safe space, because there is a such thing as being overtly independent, and it's basically a trauma response. When you just don't think that you can depend on anyone, that is a trauma response, because
but it's a trauma response now. But if you, I think calling it a trauma response is so 2022 versus 10 years ago. we weren't independent because we didn't know anything else. What else were you to do?
Well, I'm not saying independent, because independence is a great thing. Like, we teach our 2-year-old to be independent. Like, we teach our 2-year-old, you can do it, but being overtly independent, you know, like, anytime you go
allowing somebody to do it.
Exactly.
I used to, when I first started dating in college, I used to be overtly independent. And my first boyfriend, I would not let him open doors.
But wait a minute. So define what's overt independence, though. Like,
it's when you won't allow yourself to sit back and allow them to do.
You won't allow yourself to be vulnerable enough for anyone to do anything for you. You won't allow them to be in that role, to be that partner for you. It's almost like
self-preservation. That's protection.
That's the trauma response.
I think so too.
That's a trauma response.
And a trauma response, I know you said it's like very, very 2022, but it's not. It doesn't have to be your trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So, like when I was saying earlier, where they weren't taught that because their moms didn't get to operate in that space, that's a trauma response that's generational.
What?
Because they were traumatized or dealt with trauma, and so therefore they couldn't allow themselves to still be like y'all's mom, my mom. Right, my mom was the breadwinner, and in my house it was sort of kind of flipped because my dads, they both did the womanly thing with cooking and cleaning because my mom did all the working.
Mm-hmm.
However, she taught me, just like y'all's moms, sit back, let that man be a man.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't take out the trash. I do pump my own gas, but I actually like pumping gas.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Girl,
it's weird.
no.
I don't take out the trash though.
I don't take out no
the
trash
gas pump.
either.
Don't take out the trash.
I will wake him up. You forgot to take out the trash last
Girl,
night.
I will text him. Listen, that trash waiting on you, bro. Hey, I don't do no trash.
Only time I take the trash out is if he's literally not there.
Oh,
like when he went out the country for 2 weeks.
I'll wait.
So what is so significant?
See, that's that hyper independence right there.
Talking about? So what does that mean? Like, I think that it's not just the trash, but it's more of a representation of the contribution that a man plays, like that he's fulfilling that role.
It's the stereotypical thought of this is how a man acts and this is how a woman acts. How we gravitate towards we're responsible for keeping the house clean, as if there aren't two adults there that can clean the house.
Right.
I remember when I was going to when we went to marriage council when we first got married, and I used to stress about the house not being clean because we have a really big house, but it was just me cleaning because I took on that task because that's what I'm supposed to do as a woman, right? And the therapist was like, but there's a whole other adult here.
Right.
And so some women, you won't even allow. Okay, well, you can help me clean, but like I'm responsible for keeping this house clean.
It's not even that I'm responsible, but it's like I know how I like it clean.
That part.
And so like you gonna clean, but you're not gonna
clean the way I do.
So instead of me having to go back over what you've already done, I'm just gonna do it, right? Because
But the opposite is you could teach them.
But I don't mind because I know how I want it, right? And like I get to the point where I'm anal about some stuff. So instead of us having arguments about what you did and didn't clean, that's not a battle I want to fight.
That's how I am about keeping the kitchen clean.
Right.
Because I can't stand the dishwasher.
Right.
I'm old school.
But I do think that,
girl, I throw them dishes in the damn dishwasher fast. But me and Sharita had this conversation years ago when she was talking about, she was fussing with William about picking up his laundry and this. And I said, listen, sis, I'm going to be all the way honest.
That's got to be a man thing.
No. But it is a man thing.
That's got to be a man thing.
But listen, my sister don't just
hang on. I was in the podcast studio. And I heard it must be a man thing.
And it is.
And I'm the only man here.
And it is. Okay.
And you will confirm that your drawers don't know what a hamper is either.
Now,
but they can find the floor.
What's a hamper?
I don't date men like that.
I was about to say that's not a
what's
man
a hamper?
thing.
No, that's not
what's
a hamper.
See,
that's some white people shit. Hamper.
Really, Peter?
Yes.
Really?
That is true.
It is really true.
A hamper?
Some southern.
What
That's
y'all
some
call
southern stuff right there.
What you call it? Then?
Dirty clothes basket.
Well, I ain't want to say all of that. That's Columbus,
That's the dirty clothes basket.
No, she didn't want to say that part of it, but she said your dirty drawers to begin with. But she didn't want to say the dirty basket, right?
Your dirty drawers know where the hamper is.
The men I date put they stuff like I.
She ain't got time for that.
Wait till you live with them, no.
But let me tell you what baby asked me one time. He was like, do you just want me to hire you somebody? Because yes. we trying to do some things.
We
You know
have
what
shit
I'm
to
saying?
do. You know what I mean? We got shit to do.
We're running a whole company. We got staff. We got shows. And then you got a whole entire house because me and him had this conversation before. I was reading an article and it was saying like millennium women are fine with not being married. Like they're fine with having their own space and dating their men, and you live over there and I live over here, because from what the research is saying, relationships are another job. And so after a millennial woman, it's work. And if you don't feel like your relationship is a job, you ain't doing it right. I'm just
We need
saying.
to work at it, baby.
I'm telling you.
We got to work at it. Right?
It's a job, but we get it done.
Yeah.
And we do it good.
Because we work.
Hello. But you know, a lot of millennial women feel like after I get through hustling, bustling through the day, I'm getting these degrees, I'm raising these kids, I'm being role models, we have life coaching, you know, they're knocking down walls. Why then would I just want to come home and then become a servant? You get what in a certain
that's the wrong mentality to have.
But that's what a lot of women are saying, when you could just hire a maid.
Oh, I'm not opposed to getting. Let's be clear, okay? I feel like that needs to be a line item in everybody's budget, okay? And I also look at it as you are helping somebody run their own business or provide for their family. And if that's one less thing on my to-do list for the day, I will do it. But I love a clean kitchen, so I'm going to clean my own kitchen. I don't care who done touched it before I get there. My grandmother would scrub my kitchen. I'll come behind her and do it again because I like it my way.
I think that relationships have just changed what they are, like traditionally was, originally what relationships was for, right? Because originally relationships were about procreation and then someone taking care of the woman, right? Like that's what relationships were about. And now I think that, as you've said, relationships have changed so much that it is a job. And so people get to decide, like, do I want to be in this now instead of I have to be in this, which is where it was.
That's what I'm just saying. You know what I mean? It's exactly what I agree with all these women, by the way.
He wasn't even.
I really do. But here's a little known fact. Did you know that camels have 3 eyelids to protect themselves from blowing sand? Who knew that?
I did, actually.
I'll repeat it for the people in the cheap seats in the 400s. Here it is. Camels have 3 eyelids to protect themselves from blowing sand. How's that make you feel?
I mean,
Peter, I didn't know we were supposed to have a feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's necessary. I lived in the desert for a year, so I actually knew that. Yeah. So
that's what it is.
Thank you for those thoughts.
Hey,
okay,
you're welcome.
So we're going to a break
there,
on that note. When we come back, we'll continue our relationship talk, and you guys just tune in. You are listening to the Mrs. Bartender Bay on My Fusion Radio, One World, One Voice.
Come to the hood, I pull a decoy. Another body dropping, they screaming my name. I'm going to LA on a private plane. Could never come back in my family straight. I'm touchable, no, too rich or too paid. Skeleton, cardiac, black diamond spades. Pull up too deep like a parade. Oh, jealous, try my pay. Blade stuck, Aurora's culling in rain. I put baguettes in my wrist, and my neck, and my ears, and my chains. This drip out the trenches, I know you gon' dig it. I come through the both planes. I cut up my wrist, open wet, and Coachella keep calling, they won't see the fame. I took her to China and changed up her climate, and now she ain't talking the same.
5 nights up, still popping and raging. The SVR still living the range. I want her, she wanted the same, and above same time, both glad that they came. Keep me a vibe, can't keep it contained. No, I keep me some dolls, always keep me in training. Tat a logo on the back of my brain. Don't ask me what the f am I thinking. Back of these walls, I'm full of that drink. Air came through with a little entertainment. Air 29 got it looking like space. Houston is a problem where we busting up faces. I came with the snakes, no squid. Straight up, I broke out the game with a 4-5 cent. She loving the flesh, I see it. She loving the flesh, yeah, I see it on her face. And I'm loving that body and lace. And I love you, little spider and Jack. Yeah, I know you got taste. If you lay yourself, take shots with me. If I love you, I drop you a pin to a time and a place.
YSL put her 6 feet. I ain't begging when I tell her, please. Me and Lil Thug on fleek. Got a little on me. Hey, what? On beat. Over your life, not cheap. On me on boy 2T. Why I just hit my account, never seen that amount. Oh God, I'm geek. Been on the charts for 500 weeks, so somebody love when I speak. Doing it just to show we get down in the 6, man, it's bigger than me. Texas ran so big that it's perfect for the dipping. I don't care how wet I get her, she won't catch me. 325 on the dashboard, riding a Porsche, rocking Tom Ford, rocking the bed in the headboard. What? Buying out Louis and Christian Dior. I took the jet to the New York store, park at a regular airport. You stay in your feelings was never my boy.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
This is Shantae Braxton, and you're listening to the Mrs. Bartender Bay radio show, only on myfusionradio.com.
Fusion Radio, one world, one voice, and myfusionradio.com. You're listening to the Mrs. Bartender Bay radio show. We really appreciate you guys for listening. Don't forget to download that app, the Google Play Store, the App Store. So it's Friday night. Mrs. Bartender Bay, what's going on?
Nah, I'm gonna beat you because I just asked
Again?
you.
Ooh, she gonna beat me. Ooh.
Beat it. He like
Right.
it like that, y'all.
Maybe I do. Maybe I do. What? You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Hey, baby.
So we was talking about
Hey, baby.
submission, but it sounds like y'all talking about bondage.
And let me tell you something. So that's a whole nother topic.
Anyway, it's Fusion Radio, one world, one voice. Let's focus on the radio show. Okay.
You know what? Don't even do that because when your brother was here last week, y'all talked about dicks.
No.
Y'all did. Y'all talked about dicks.
Is that really?
Yes.
That sounds kind of gay, though. You think me and my brother were talking about dicks?
We have the
I
audio,
don't
babe.
know. We're gonna find out on the next episode. Okay. It is Friday night. What are we doing? It's the Mrs. Bartender Bay radio show. That's right. Get it together.
Right.
We're professional broadcasters over here.
Every time you say that and you
We're
clear your
professional
throat, it doesn't sound very professional.
No.
Sound
It
like
is the Mrs. Bartender Bay radio show. I'm trying to be super professional right now.
This my shit.
I remember, don't worry. Do you remember? I remember how it all began. How could I ever forget? It's the first time. Do you remember? I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air. I can feel it in hands. I can feel it. I can feel it. It's coming in the air. I can feel
Fusion Radio, one world, one voice of myfusionradio.com. You're listening to the Mrs. Bartender Bay radio show. Mrs. Bartender Bay, what's happening?
We are having some awesome, excellent, intelligent conversations. Let me tell you what. My girl actually just said something so freaking profound. And it's so amazing that you have 5 different women here. It is 5 of us, sorry. Yeah, it's 5 of us. I'm seeing double right now. How I was like, where'd that girl come from? That's just the tequila, my bad.
Or we have ghosts. I don't know.
I'm just saying. But yeah, you have 5 different women with 5 different perspectives, which also proves to the point that everyone has their own perspective. Everybody has their own opinion. No one is the same. And what I cannot stand sometimes is that a lot of times people say, oh, you're a woman, so you think this way, or you're a black woman, so you think this way, or you're an educated woman, or you're from the South, you're from here. But you have 5 different women with totally different perspectives on the same exact topic. Speaking about submission, Ashley said something really profound to me, and she said that you have to be a very strong person to submit. What was that about, Ashley? What do you mean? Can you tell me? What do you mean? How do you have to be strong in order to submit to someone?
I think that anyone can just do what they want, when they want, how they want it, but to be able to really take someone else's like thoughts, opinions, and feelings into consideration into every decision that you make, take someone to like their ego can't be like inflated, right? They can't be operating from this place of protection, like I gotta look out for me,
right.
When it's really like us. But I think Shay and Cher was getting to the point of like, but also submission looks very different for different people. And so like just thinking about what does submission look like to you and your partner? Because what it looks like to you and Peter may be totally different for Shay and her partner. And I think that getting to that understanding of what works for you and your partner is like really important as well. And you can't define that based on what it is for someone else. Because like Shay was like, somebody taking out the trash for me or whatever the case may be, or pumping gas, like I love to do these things. So that may not be something.
Not the trash, but the gas.
But the gas.
Not the trash, but the gas. Okay?
Right.
I heard that clearly, Shay. But that's an awesome point. And to that point, I think that how people experience you also plays a part, because for me, I may think that I'm operating from a spirit of submission, but that doesn't mean that Peter is experiencing me in that way at that moment. You know, sometimes you have to see the entire picture, because just because this is the way you're intending and this is what you think you're projecting, that doesn't mean that's the way that others are seeing you and are viewing you.
That's why love language is so important.
Okay.
People think that that's something new, but it's really not. It's just been more defined recently.
Right.
Like, it's very important to understand your partner's love language, because not to get too much into like the whole Will and Jada thing, but they brought up like the red table talk. And to summarize, he talked about how for her 40th birthday, he wanted to throw this big grand party, and then when he threw it, you know, she was like, that was the biggest display of your ego, because it was more about you than it was about me. Love language. If all I wanted was for you to take me on a nice dinner, you could have saved a couple grand from throwing this party.
But what if he thinks like, oh, this bitch should be ungrateful because I done spent a pretty coin on this big party and she's ungrateful.
But then like, that's why it goes to what she said. Yeah, this was about you,
not me.
See how you said, I did this. Because it was about you. Right. It wasn't about me.
Right. Because if you were listening and I said I wanted to go to dinner, that's what you would have done. You would have spent all that money on a nice dinner. We could have had wine, a nice steak, you know what I mean? Instead of you throwing this big party that I didn't even really want in the first place. So
how about just going to the party then?
See, you want the party.
I'm just saying, the man to spend his money. Just go to the doggone party.
I mean, you don't go.
So I got a question to piggyback off of that. So say Peter threw you this big party. You didn't want the big party. You just wanted him to take you to the Bahamas. He decided to throw this big party, bring all your family, friends,
Why are you going to bring Peter into it then? Like, why is it going to be about me? Don't be bringing me into shit because she like, yeah, what she said, motherfucker. You know, she was right about you. Like, what did we even talk about?
What?
Wait, huh? What happened?
So do you?
Hey, let me ask you a question. No, here's a fact. Here's this true. We'll get back to it. Like, check it out. Did you know the biggest snowflake ever reported measured 15 inches across? Can you imagine like 15 inches? What's that look like?
The question is, how did they measure that particular snowflake? Because they usually disintegrate upon impact.
All I know is, I'll read it one more time. The biggest snowflake ever reported measured 15 inches across.
I can't stand him.
That's what it said.
I could not. Let me tell you, on the way here.
It might be the only one that was reported, but...
On the way here, I told Peter, I said, this is going to be so fun for me because we all going to be trying to have real intelligent. I was like, your ass going to be like bacon.
No, but I'm trying to educate and inform, entertain at the same time. You know, y'all having a good time?
Well,
are you really? This is cool, right?
Miss Bartender,
appreciate y'all being here.
This drink, because I was like, who about to drink all of this?
And I immediately said Ashley. Immediately.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and rub my own shoulder and stroke my own ego. So that means I did my job.
You did it.
Okay. Because I didn't think you was going to finish it, but you finished it and you liked it. Mm-hmm. You liked it. But yeah, Shay, back to what you were saying. Like, okay, he threw this big party and I just wanted to go to the Bahamas.
Right.
You know?
So do you have to be appreciative of it?
I don't think you have to do anything.
You don't got to do shit, girl.
Right. I don't got to do nothing. But the type of person that I am, I would take him into consideration and be like, babe, I see what you was trying to do. Sometimes, you know your man. You know sometimes he ain't hit the mark like he want, but he had the best intentions. He loved you and he wanted to display your love. Can that get frustrating over the years? Hell yeah, especially if you constantly having to say, all right, I get it. My boo, you know, he a little slow sometimes. He ain't listening to me all the time. I told this month, like, I want to go to the Bahamas. You know, sometimes you might have to write a note, but you're not obligated. I would be appreciative if you really did something with a thought and an effort and the time it takes to call all those. I would still be appreciative. Now,
but how long do you have to accept that though?
I mean, just for
like,
2
what's the
seconds.
time limit on that?
For
because,
me,
like, if you know I don't like chocolate,
and
you did it the first year. I said, hey, babe, you know I don't really care for chocolate. You know, I'm trying to watch my weight, my skin, boom, boom, boom. And then the second year he do it, you're like, okay, maybe he forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to keep accepting chocolates 15 years down the line?
No, absolutely.
So
you
then,
accepted it the first time, you already messed up.
Right. So then that goes to my question, right? So are you now unappreciative because I told you, you know, I kind of already told you when you asked what I wanted to do for my birthday, that I wanted to go to Bahamas, and you still thought that you should throw this party. Mm-hmm. So now I have to appreciate it.
He'll be mad if your ass was in the Bahamas the day of that party, though.
Right.
Because you
told me.
I told you.
By hook or by crook.
I would really be questioning my relationship, though. If I told you, and we discussed this, and I said, nah, babe, don't do no party. Me, you in the Bahamas, all I need is some beach. And you still did it?
Yeah.
But then he might be like, but babe, I just really wanted to surprise you.
Because that's how they do.
Yeah.
That's how they do.
Not my man. No. You're going to know. Especially if I told you flat out, bruh. And you go the opposite. We not together.
Imagine
We
if
playing
like
games.
Imagine if like they threw you the party. And then at the end of the party, they were going to surprise you with the tickets to the Bahamas. But like you showed your ass at the beginning of the party.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't say you got to show your ass now. You still got to be classy, so I might not like it. But your ass better have them Bahama tickets when I get upstairs. That's all.
Nah, you showed your,
right
but you showed your ass before y'all even left the house. Nah, like, get dressed. I'm about to take you to, you know, this thing. And you get to the elevator, everybody surprised you. Like, I told you I didn't want his like. The jet was about to leave. But in 2 hours.
Well, that's what I told you I wanted. So let's get on this jet.
No, I enjoy that party too. But you enjoy the party and then you go. I like
because now you're really going to enjoy the party because now you know you're about to go to the Bahamas.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So what about like? But my man really wanted to do this for me.
Mm-hmm. But so then you have to sacrifice what you wanted for that person.
It's not necessarily sacrificing what you wanted. That's compromise. He's like, you know, yes, I know you wanted to go to the Bahamas, but I really wanted to do this for you. Because sometimes it's not always about us, right?
But it's how is it not about us? But it's my
but that's
birthday.
where So that's where submission comes from, because if I'm with someone and they want to do this for me, right? Like, he could say, we can go to the Bahamas anytime, but this is something that I really want to do for you on this particular
I think
day,
this is
right?
where the differences in the definition of submission for each person comes in, because I feel like there's only a few times you get to be selfish.
Right.
Your birthday should be one.
Right.
When you
Birthday,
get married.
anniversary, let's list those times, please. People
Right.
don't know when.
Those things you should be. Well, actually, like anniversary, you kind of got
have
to
to do
consider your
both,
spouse.
right,
So.
exactly.
But like your birthday, you should be able to be selfish, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So then this is where like our differences in submission come in, because I told you I didn't want it.
Right.
And it's not about what you wanted to do for me. It should be about what I wanted you to do for me.
Amen,
Because
sister.
you asked me.
Amen. Those damn guys always fucking shit up for everybody.
Anyway.
You know what I mean? They really are.
The biblical concept of submission simply means to willfully deploy oneself in service to their partner.
Right. Why is it that every time we discuss submission, people go to the biblical version of it?
Because that's where
in the
everybody
beginning was
is.
the word.
Right.
And the word.
Everything-
the word
everything
was.
goes-
Okay,
The
Pastor.
word was a bird.
I wasn't
And
ready for
word,
the
word,
pastor.
word. The word was a bird. Anybody?
I don't know. Like for me, I guess that's my upbringing. That's where I see a relationship outside of myself for the first time. You know, you definitely have your relationship with your siblings and your parents and all of that. But the most pure relationship, my first, was my relationship with God and my relationship with the Lord, and me having to think outside of myself and pleasing the Lord. So that's why I get submission from. I don't know if it's that deep to other people, but that was my first introduction. Like with your parents,
I'm
you
about
can
to do a praise break, y'all. Hang on, let me get a record.
you know, with your parents, you
know
can
what I'm talking about?
rebel. With your
I'm taking requests.
siblings,
Who
you
wants
can
to
get
hear
a.
a
You
praise
don't really
break
have
request?
to definitely agree with your siblings, but when it comes to your relationship with God, like that is the law, and you're supposed. You know, you sometimes you step outside the law, but that's the law, and you submit yourself to God. So that's why I always refer to the Bible. So.
I agree.
Yeah, but I do think that there's a certain level of vulnerability you have to have with this word of submission. And Sharita, you brought up the word compromise. And that's something that a lot of people have no freaking concept of.
Reciprocity.
Yeah, like exactly. Like, how do we reciprocate our love for one another? Because it's, in my opinion, once you start adding some kids in the mix, it's never going to be quite equal, in my opinion. Not in this, not in today's time. And the reason I say that is,
I want to see the Bible verse on that one.
well, okay,
Break it out.
Okay, but the reason why I say
No,
that is
that was a joke. Sorry, Jesus.
from the point of conception, the woman takes on the full role of making sure this baby gets into the world. Like, daddy, yeah, he, whatever. But your body now is a temple for this life form. So
Your body has 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
Right.
At any given point when you are pregnant.
This is some deep.
You get what I'm saying? And so the man, yeah, he's there to support you through that. But I don't care how much you say breathe. You don't feel nothing. You don't feel none of these contractions. You're not pushing. You're not doing any of that. So already you're starting off. And so therefore the bond is different. And it's supposed to be, but I know some people don't have those, natural feelings. I've heard people say, like, I don't have a maternal bone in my body as a mother, or, the father can be more nurturing. That's fine. But in today's time, if you are a woman and we're talking about submitting, you have to be out there in your career, because people are not really respecting stay-at-home moms anymore. I know we can say what we want to say, but I know when you get to a certain level in your career or in a certain level in your life, people want to know, what do you do? And if the only thing in some people's mind is if you just stay home and raise your kids, it's not as respectable if you say I'm a doctor or you say I'm a lawyer. Like, let's just go ahead and be real.
I don't know about that. because I have friends who want that. They glorify being able to be a stay-at-home mom. You know what I mean? So I don't think people or this generation or in this lifetime at the current moment or anything like that more women are like, it's not a glorified position to be at home. I think there's still some women out there that want that.
I think that you want that, but just speaking from experience, when there is a lot of stigma attached to it because people think that it's not a choice. A lot of times there's no education attached to being a stay-at-home mom. But when you tell somebody, oh, I am the CEO of X, Y, and Z, they automatically feel like there's some type of intelligence, or they put you in like, okay, you're someone that has these skills. Or if you tell someone, I'm the principal of this school, they say, okay. But if you say, well, what do you do? Oh, I stay at home. I'm a stay-at-home mom. A lot of times people think that you just sitting at home watching, is Jerry Springer still on? You know, that's my experience. But I think that there is a lot of honor in being able to, because you have to have a certain lifestyle in order to be able to stay at home with your kids.
Hey, listen, don't be hating on Jerry Springer, okay? Because I tell you, everybody watches Pluto TV. They have a whole network.
Yeah.
It's like the Jerry Springer, whatever it's called, you know?
No, because you remember
it's ridiculous.
The other night.
It's really ridiculous.
We stayed up.
Super ridiculous.
We stayed up.
I watched like 4 episodes of it. I was like, by the time I was like, Jerry.
We stayed up like 2 nights ago watching Jerry Springer.
Oh, it's on the Nosy Network. Check it out. Pluto, holler at us. We're going to shout you out.
Shout out to Pluto.
Shout out to Pluto.
And Jerry Springer.
Right.
We would love to have you. Hey. But, that's my opinion.
I think that with this whole, I think that was the case for a while, but I think that now, like, even when we look at, like, the Great Resignation and people are just leaving their jobs, and most of that is women because people are really, like, prioritizing family again, which I think our generation, I think we all around the same age, like, we prioritize, like, get the bag for a long time.
A very long time. Because that's what you were taught.
Long time.
And now people are really realizing that all of this stuff, like, all of this, you can have all of this stuff and then miss out on, like, what's the most important thing, right? And so, like, I think that people are really turning in the resignations, like, all across, and it's like, I'm going to be with my family, or I'm going to raise my kids, or I'm going to, like, actually be there in a way that we haven't seen in so long.
I think
but
a lot of
Shantae
that,
is right.
though, go ahead.
No, you're right. Go ahead.
I think a lot of that, though, comes from the opportunity to stay at home and work. I think a lot of people see the ease it is. I know for me, commuting back and forth was a headache. And so you wake up in the morning, you're able to log on, get work started. You're at home, you're cooking. If your children are there, you can cook your meals for your kids. So I think people see the value in being able to stay home now. And that's what's brought about that kind of
shift.
That shift in the dynamic of wanting to have family and that kind of thing. But prior, you had to get out there and hump the system. You had to hump the system to get by, you know what I mean? But now that we've been able to slow down a bit, people are starting to see the value in wanting to have kids and family and being able to do those things for them.
And if anybody's going to do it, it's got to be our generation. We're the generation of the multi-hyphenate. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has a side hustle. Everybody has multiple streams of income. If you're looking online, that's all people are talking about, the different things we're doing. You're not just a podcaster. You're a podcaster that also does sponsorships. You're a podcaster that also does jewelry on the side. We were taught to do that. If anybody's going to take advantage of the Great Resignation, I am proud to be a millennial.
Yeah, right.
I am happy that we are doing that and redefining the workspace, because we're the only generation that's right now bridging the gap between the generations. What the hell are we calling them kids?
Z. I mean, they're
I'm Generation X.
There's Generation Z.
That's what I'm saying. We're bridging the gap between Z, X, the boomers. We the ones in the middle. Why would it not be us that's choosing to take advantage of this Great Resignation and redefine what it means to be a stay-at-home mom? Because it is a privilege, and like you said, there are people that do covet it. And I think, like you said, Shantae, it takes a lot to have that lifestyle to truly be a stay-at-home mom. And as somebody that's witnessed you doing it, it's 5 jobs. Like, she will get up, teach the kids, clean the house.
She's amazing.
I left Shantae at my house one time. There was a whole snowmageddon in Atlanta, and all I had to do was go to work. I came home, she done cleaned my house, baked a lasagna, put her kids to bed, taught class.
You can
and
bake
I'm
a
coming
lasagna.
home like, yo, I just want to drink my wine and go to sleep. Right? How you do all this in a day? So she's like, a day? I did that in the last hour. Excuse
so I
me.
might be the only single one then, huh? With no kids.
I don't have kids. But I actually had this conversation with my mom the other day because I have people in my life who have become part of the Great Resignation, and she was like, "It's your generation, just like you guys just quit jobs left and right." And I told them I still have that fear-based raising of you can't leave a job until you have another one lined up.
Facts.
So I couldn't do it. But to actually watch them, I actually gave both of them their props on the fact that they were so comfortable. Like, I don't want to be in this space anymore.
It's a brave, bold decision.
And I don't even care about the money that I'm losing because they both were like 6-figure jobs. Wow. I don't even care about.
Listen,
look, I got some money saved up, or I got this 401. I'm gonna leave, and then
it's
they gave me
beautiful.
30 days notice, and then the people pissed them off, and it's like, all right, well, I'm leaving today.
Out. Yeah.
But you know what? They make you feel guilty about it because I don't even think I've told all this, but I quit one of my jobs. Because yes, I'm one of those stupid people that work 2 full-time jobs, but I recently let go of one of my jobs, and one of my VPs said to me, well, don't go lose yourself, because I'm not gonna tell them what I'm doing. And hey y'all, I was saying, I was taking time off for myself to focus on my family, and because I have a lot going on right now. And she's like, don't go lose yourself in your new marriage, don't go just become a stay-at-home mom. And I was like, taken aback, like, not only have I bust my ass for my career, but so what if I did? This is my privilege to be able to say,
because they can't take the audacity of you to be leaving and not have something lined up.
Yeah,
like it feels better when you're leaving and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to another school district, or I'm going to another wireless company. You're like, no, I'm just
it makes more sense.
I hope everybody gets to say it though, because when I tell you the power of being like, no, girl, I'm good. I'm gonna go sit down somewhere. I'm gonna go focus on what's
I want to shout out the ones who got to work,
the
ones who are stay-at-home moms. But I also want to shout out the ones who got to do both.
Yeah.
I got friends who, because of the panini, the kids couldn't go to school.
Have we settled on panini?
Yes, the kids couldn't go to school, and they still had to work. So in between conference calls, I'm changing diapers. Some of them giving birth during this time. And so I just want to shout out all of those women.
You're welcome, because I do it every day. Timothy,
shout out
be
to
up
all
in here.
the women that got to do the stay-at-home mom, you just working.
I'm telling you,
and you got to take care of your man. To the ones who got to do all three, like.
And it take a good man to help you through that. We're talking about stay-at-home women, but you have to think those men who are making the way for those women to be able to take care of those kids. And, just listening to you all speak.
Sorry.
I thought it was Peter. But listening to you all speak, it would be our generation that could take advantage of it, because if you think about it, outside of our generation, they already raised their kids. So this is not a conversation for them. They were in that situation where they either had to take care of their kids or stay home, and then you have the 20-something-year-olds that they're still about chasing that bag because they are trying to find themselves. They're trying to secure their future, where we are at the age where the dust has kind of settled. So we have a little free time to think like, this is not for me. I know this is not what God wants for me. Or, so if that means leaving that job and being that mom, then cool. Or if that means that you have to do both, then cool. But the way daycare is set up right now, y'all, you ain't saving no money by going to work. Sometimes it is, you might save money by staying home, and one person stay home with the kids, and it doesn't necessarily have to be mom. Sometimes dad can stay home and mom go work.
I had a coworker who, when her and her husband first graduated college, it actually made more sense for her to not work.
Yes.
Because by the time she paid for daycare and the extra gas,
it's a house note.
Her whole check would have been gone. So it's like, I might as well just stay home because at least I know I physically save.
Let's talk about when you got multiple kids, the price of daycare. For 3 kids, I know in our area, the price of daycare would be about $5,000 a month.
That sounds about right.
You get what I'm
in
saying?
DC, Maryland, Virginia.
It's about $5,000 a month for 3 kids. If you got more than that, you do the math. So sometimes the piece that you get from raising your own kids, you don't have to worry about what's going on when you're not away, especially with younger kids. They're so influential and they're sponges. So if you get that piece of making sure that you instill whatever you want to instill in your kids.
It's the piece for me.
Right. And I feel like our generation is choosing peace.
Yes.
Now I feel like we're the most open to everything. We're like, do what makes you happy. I think when it comes to relationships, sexuality, under us, Generation Z, they're even more liberal than that because they're labeling their damn selves, which, hey, that's all right.
Just had this conversation in the car.
Yeah.
They labeling themselves, so go ahead, do whatever makes you happy. I'm happy that you all joined us this Friday night. Thank you all for being our guests. You all are so awesome.
Having us.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Sharita, can you tell us how can we find you on social media? Are you on social media? Do you want us to holler at you? No. Share. What's up, girl? What's going on? Tell us, how can we find you, girl?
So I have a makeup side hustle business. And it's Cher McPherson _ you can find me on Instagram.
Awesome. Ashley, what you got going on? What you got brewing, girl?
So I do a lot of fitness and Christian inspired fitness, all of that good stuff. So you can find me on IG at Christian and Cute. You need some workout tips, you need some inspiration, whatever you need that's Christ centered, hit me up.
Awesome. Shay. What's up, Shay?
You can find me at Searching for Shay. Is where I'll be chronicling my weight loss journey, pre-pregnancy, pregnancy, and post-pregnancy.
Wow.
So yes, you can follow that journey starting probably May.
Awesome. I love it, girl. I just love babies. All of y'all are doing great things. So what's going to happen is you going to get pregnant. Ashley going to help you work out. And then Sherry going to fix that face, honey. You're going to for that photo shoot. For that photo shoot. And you can find me again on all platforms at Peter Parker ATL. You can also you also can
I frown upon that.
Shoot me an email at sbraxton@fusiondigitalmedia.com. We are looking for business development managers. We hiring y'all. So yes, Peter, how can we find you?
You can find me at Shantae411 on all platforms. Okay. What is it? Christian Mingle? Shantae411. Is that what it is? Is that where we met, actually? Wasn't that what it was?
Absolutely
right.
Not.
So I just totally made that up.
Yeah. But you know what? We'll tell the story of how we met another time.
Right.
Because Peter was so slick. Let me tell y'all.
No, she was the slick one.
Peter walked up to me and he was like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Right. So I was like, well, shit. Me too. I'm great.
Then he was like, "Come here, let me talk to you." He's like, being all nice and welcoming or whatever. Then after I left, Peter slid in my DMs.
I sure did.
He did. I didn't even know he knew my social media because I didn't give it to him.
I did my investigation. Okay. She was here. Her friend, what was it? We were doing a podcast with somebody else, and she was like a guest of the person. Whatever.
Right. Exactly. And then Peter, he was like, let me tell you where the slickness come from. He was like, I think I knew you from another life.
I was being real with you. You know?
He's like, I know. He's like, he's like, I finally found you.
I've been looking for you my whole life. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah. So, yeah, everything kind of expedited.
Oh.
But
I know the crowd goes, oh. No, but it's true. It's true, though.
Speaking of expedited, Peter was like, I love you.
Oh, you know what she says to me? Here, you know, the first time I said to her, I said, you know what? I love you. She said, you know, I love you too. You know, because I'm a Christian and I'm supposed to love you. I was like, oh, it was like, womp, womp, womp.
I know that, and God wants me to love everybody.
Right.
He was not like that.
But like that too.
But yeah, we've been inseparable since. But yeah, so thank you all for listening to the Mrs. Bartender Bay radio show. You can do not forget to download that app, My Fusion Radio. You can listen to us at myfusionradio.com on all platforms, Spotify, iHeart.
Definitely my mom's listening right now, so you can find it at her house.
You can listen to it at my mama house, right? For sure.
And like she's watching it like through the website. Facebook. You know what I mean? Like, well, who's listening to our shit through the website? Well, we appreciate it, but like we have an app, y'all. I was on the computer. I heard you on the computer last night. You on the computer? You heard me on the computer, Mom. She gives me way too much credit.
Yes.
Like she, you know.
My mama do so. My mama thinks Peter is so
I'm the most
freaking famous
like,
person in the world.
Right.
My mama be like, "This Peter, y'all."
Right.
And they be like, "All right."
And you know those people, you know they're lying to you because they're like, "I heard you on the radio last week." I'm like, "Did you? Did you? You heard me on the radio? Is that what we're doing?"
Right. Well, you've been listening to the Mrs. Bartender Bay radio show on My Fusion Radio. See y'all next Friday. Bye-bye.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
This is Shantae Braxton, and you're listening to the Mrs. Bartender Bay radio show, only on myfusionradio.com.
Are you ready, kids?
I love listening to the Miss Bartender Babe. Can I beatbox now?